the cameras and turn up the music. We're live in the room, so just stop what you're doing. The other side of the ring, let me show you how I do it. 1, 2, 360, this is how I view it. I go by wrestling flow, but the next stop, the legendary Hall of Fame voice of X-PAC.
Welcome to X-PAC 1, 2, 360, everyone. We figured we'd do, since the Royal Rumble's coming up in the next few days, we would do an episode on the Royal Rumble, and so I decided to hit Kev up, and so we don't call you Big Daddy Cool anymore, but he was Big Daddy Cool when. Oh shit! I don't know if you. Hey Kev.
Yeah.
So hey, anyways. So I got Kevin Nash here, and Nick Hausman has joined us again. So Nick, you want to take it over?
Sure. I mean, I was interested to see what you were going to throw to Kev about, but yeah, I'm here. Hi. Yeah, we're going to talk to Rumble with Kevin Nash. That's awesome.
Yeah. I just don't know. Hey Kev, were you Big Daddy Cool yet for Royal Rumble 94?
I think so.
Was it 94? Yeah, 94.
Yeah. 94 was the one at the Dunkin' Donuts in Providence.
Hey, so that. Do you remember we did that Royal Rumble at the Garden beforehand? And I heard my knee. Yeah, I tore my medial collateral doing that flying spinning head scissors with you.
Right.
I never did it again. I mean, you based me great for it. Just my freaking MCL was already tweaked or whatever. But I have a funny memory of that because Ludwig Borga got hurt the same night. And so Tony and I went to the hospital together, and we were all pissed off because Ivan Putski commandeered the ambulance to get out of the building because you know how hard it was to get out of the Garden, right? Yeah. So Ivan Putski commandeered the goddamn ambulance, and so it took us forever to even get to the hospital. And so we're sitting in the hospital, Tony and I, and we call Vince. It's like 2 a.m. or like 1 a.m. We wake him up and we're bitching at him. It was so fucking funny.
Everybody always puts over the Garden. I always hated the Garden.
It was a bitch, man. It was a tough crowd.
I came back like in 2011, like they had like Survivor Series or something there, and they made you park in the parking structure across the
street
and walk through the market.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I thought it was just me. I'm like, okay, they're still not over the fact I left. And then like I'm watching Sheamus and a bunch of other guys like park right by me. I'm like, wow, man. Like this kind of, guess if you don't have a bus, you're a dick.
Yeah. We used to always figure out how to weasel our way into parking inside.
Oh yeah.
Oh Jesus. Anyway.
So wait, are you talking, so this is what, 94 or
94?
Yeah, you said, okay, I was about to say, you said the year before. I thought this was 94 one. Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah.
So anyways, I tore my MCL, and so I missed the 94 Royal Rumble. That was where I was getting at.
Because Sparkplug took your spot in that match.
Yeah.
Actually, what happened was that I got your push.
Yeah.
You were supposed to eliminate like 8 in a row or whatever it was.
Hey, so people might not know this, but Kev, your first house shows for Vince were with me, right? Your house show matches were singles with me, right?
I mean, I did a couple I did like my first of significance was we did a 6-man elimination at the Garden, and it was me, Sean, and Bam Bam against, and I eliminated, and I won that. That was, and then, but when I went solo, it was always you.
Yeah, you were the heel, right? Do you remember Jack Lanza telling you to eat me up and you wouldn't do it?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I remember one time you went over and your like leg got caught in the rope.
that was in Germany.
Yeah, and completely out of that, I'm just like grab onto me. It's like I'm worried about my buddy's legs caught.
Yeah, like everyone's I'm like hanging in my fucking knees, caught in the ropes, and Kev's just like yelling at the ref, "Get him out of there!" Like you could tell he was fucking worried for me. Everyone could tell.
I'll get some heat on you now.
So,
yeah, I fucking dove out onto you, and they had that platform.
Oh, that was in Manchester.
Yeah,
that old train station.
Shit.
I get the Willie Mays. I did the fucking over the shoulder caught and looked down, man. I'm thinking that'd have been nice. That'd been a nice 14-foot drop. Jesus.
Hey, Nick, do you want to take over here so we don't just go off into all kind of different directions?
No, I think this is what the fans want, honestly. I think they want you guys chasing rabbit holes. But I was on my list here. I was going to ask, like, I know you guys both came in to WWF in 93, and it sounds like you guys worked a lot of house shows together. Is that how you got to know each other? Did you know each other before 93? Like, what was the relationship there when you guys first met?
Well, I just first time I met Kev was they had a WCW had a house show in St. Paul at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium, and so I knew Raven from like Scotty the Body and like whatever the Scotty Flamingo and all that from Global, and so it was Kev, Raven, and Steve Austin were hanging together.
Okay,
and I met those guys, and Steve, like Austin, still fucks with me about my car. I was driving his shitbox Chevette. He never lets me live it down. Okay. No, I was making $300 a week working for Global.
Me and Steve made every house show that they had. He had a Honda Civic.
You guys drove in a Honda Civic?
Like a 2-seat Honda Civic. And I used to buy the beer and he paid for the gas, and I got killed.
God damn.
I got murdered. I think I got like 50 miles to the gallon. We were getting about a 12-pack every 12 miles. So,
yeah. So I mean, we were incredibly tight or that, like, as soon as we got in, but it didn't take long, especially once we started having matches together.
Oh, once you glued the smoking guns, that pretty much you were. Like,
yeah, okay, you're with us.
Yeah, you were with us. Like you.
Yeah,
you're too insane. We don't want you on the opposing team.
I've heard that story 100 times about how Sean. It still makes my skin crawl to think about having to peel like super glue out of my hair. It's a really mean thing to do, even if you don't like somebody.
Oh, dude, it was great. It was great because they both were doing this with their hats, and it was perfect, man. Because like everything was perfect for it to happen. And you know what the crazy thing is it took me over 20 years to figure out that it was fucking Kurt that did it. Kurt shaved my eyebrows.
Oh,
Billy Gunn, like was on one of my early shows when I first started the show, and like one of my questions was finally like, "Hey," and man, I give it to those guys. No one stooged Kurt off for over 20 years, even after he died.
No, I never knew who did it. You know, it was like there was never.
And I totally believe it. I totally believe Billy, like 100%. It's totally Kurt. But yeah,
Billy was never a ribber.
No way, man. No, neither one of those guys, him or Bart.
No.
Well, back to the Rumble here a little bit. Kev, obviously, like, you know, we've kind of talked about, you guys were in very different positions. I mean, you were eliminating 8 people, right? Sean was not, I don't even think, in the 94 Rumble. Nope. I don't think you like competed until like even, I think it was like 95. You got in the Rumble or something like that?
No, 95. Well, we can get to that, talk about the 95 Rumble, but that was, I still wasn't in the Rumble because I had a tag title. I won the tag titles.
Yeah, it was 96 you made your debut. Yeah. And then the tag titles with Sparkplug in 95, right? Yeah. But with you, Kev, like, you know, take a pause here for a second just to talk about this match. Like at this moment here in 94, when you were eliminating 8 people, like what was your relationship like with Vince? Did you know a year later you were going to be champion? Like what were you being told kind of?
You have to realize like how rudimentary the situation was. So you'd walk in and you go put your bag down. And there was I'm not kidding you, there was a chalkboard. And it would say so-and-so number 1, number 2. And you're looking, I'm looking for Diesel. I mean, I don't know what it was, 6, 7, wherever it was I came in. It says Diesel enters, Diesel eliminates, Diesel eliminates, Diesel eliminates. I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, oh my fucking God, I'm getting a push. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, and so then Vince pulls me in and goes, I want, when these guys, you know, when they come down, I don't want you fucking around too long. Just, you know, couple 1-2 spots. He said, I want you standing in that ring for a minute between these guys.
Nice.
And I was just like, okay. And then, and shortly after that, they made me the IC champ because Sean got suspended, and they wanted to elevate me, and then I did a decent job against Brett, and then we went on the European trip, and I was wrestling Quiche, and it was one of those trips where we had Sean and I had done. There were times when we would go to Europe and you would do 18, 19-day tour, come home, do TV, and then go back to Europe and do 22 days. So I was on the first one. I came back and I was cracked on the second one. I was just working Quiche. It was a nothing happening match. I'd lost the IC belt, and Scott had it back. And so I was just on the card, and I was getting hammered, and I got a call, and they said, when you get home, the limo's going to take you to Vince's house. Vince wants to talk to you. And I'm like, oh fuck, man! I fucked up to the point where he's going to fire me in person.
Oh God. Okay.
He hired me in person at his house. He's going to fire me. So I go out to the first thing is, I'm in his house, and he's probably. It's a good 2 hours that I'm sitting there, and eventually I fall asleep on his couch.
Waiting for him?
Yeah. So
he always does that.
Yeah. So he wakes me up. I'm snoring on his. He's going to make yourself at home. So we go out to the pool, and he goes, well, I'm thinking about making you the champ. I said, the IC champ again? He goes, no, the world champ. We'll do it at the Garden. You'll take it off Backlund. And I'm just sitting there going I thought I was getting fired, and I'm getting the strap. Oh my God!
Hey, so back then we used to call that belt the dime.
Yeah, gonna get the dime.
I remember when you told me I'm getting the dime. I was like, oh my God!
I can't believe I'm getting the dime.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that and it's like that. You kind of covered 12 months because you got the title about a month before the Rumble in 95 then, right? So that's kind of bookended in a little bit of a way. It seems like you found out you were really going to get a push with all these eliminations 94. By 95, you were the world champion, right?
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know when I got I know it was November because it was and this is, a lot of people don't know this, I was so green when I became the champion, but a month to the day that I became champion, my mom died of cancer.
Oh yeah.
Just a month to the day. So now I'm the champion, and we're out in San Diego, and I walk in, and this is pager time still. And I walk in, and the agents are standing at the back door, and I just looked at them. I said, my mom died, right? They're like, what do you want to do? And I said, what's the house? And the house was up. I had Brett in a cage match, and the house was up. And he said, well, Vince wants to talk to you. I said, just tell him, man. Just, have him book me a flight in the morning. I said, I'll work the match. I said, it's nothing I can do it, now, I said, I'll work the match. And I went home and buried my mom. And it was 2 days later, as soon as they got, the last shovel of dirt, I was in fucking Winnipeg.
Wow.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah. That's, you were in your mind, because we were a team. It's you didn't want to let my family down, but I also didn't want to let I'd been anointed, so I didn't want to let my teammates down.
It was so important. Oh my God.
Oh, you would never let the guys down. So, but I remember, when Taker found out that my mom passed, I think we drove back with Freddie from San Diego to LA. And I know I was, because that was the anti-burn era when you couldn't smoke. And I remember Fred, just I didn't care. My mom passed. I was getting stoned.
Yeah.
And we got back, and God, we drank. I mean, I drank Jack Daniels with Take till I caught my flight. I mean, I left 6 a.m. out of LAX to Detroit. But yeah,
dude, that makes my stomach freaking queasy just hearing the Jack Daniels. How much have we Jack Daniels have we drank? And now just the thought of it makes me want to puke.
There's a guy, I was in a liquor store a couple weeks ago and I was buying some wine, and a guy put 2 of those handled Jack Daniels things. And same thing, man. My stomach just queased.
Oof.
When Take was, they were doing that, the farewell for Mark. All the guys were downstairs, and the first night, I did the COVID thing, and I didn't get told till 11:30 I was clear. So I said, man, it's 11:30. I'm just going to stay in my room, which you were supposed to anyway.
Right.
And I didn't know everybody was downstairs drinking. Nobody got a hold of me. So the next day, everybody's hungover.
You were talking about the BSK thing that they do, whatever the reunion that they're filming.
And I would have went down there, but at the same time, I would have went down there and had a glass of wine. I wouldn't have done shots. Whew.
Yeah, because I think they said that their thing is it was all booze, no food was available, were the rules of the BSK party.
Yeah. I'm sure red wine would not be on the menu.
Speaking of, we were talking about Rumble 95. I found out there was a story, Sean, you got really messed up with Scott Hall before Rumble 95 or something.
No, it wasn't just me and Scott. It was all of us. We were out.
We were out
in Ybor City the night before.
But remember, LT was there.
Yeah, we ran into Lawrence Taylor. And
so we're going. Lawrence Taylor is coming in and he's staggering, and we're leaving, and we got a pay-per-view the next day. And he just looked and he goes, "Where you guys going?" We said, "Back out."
It's don't you guys aren't you guys wrestling tomorrow? He's like, "What the fuck?" If anyone should understand about working when you're fucked up, it should be Lawrence Taylor. I don't know how the fuck he played football on cocaine. I don't know if you've ever tried to wrestle on cocaine, but I have, and it sucks. God damn.
I've always been an almond brother. I've always been trying to get the landing gear down. Last thing I want, I don't want to go up ever. I get in an elevator, I'm trying to press a down floor. Right. I don't want to go up. Anytime.
Is cocaine tough to wrestle on, Sean? Because
it's brutal.
Because you're already really quick. Is it just make you faster and more hesitant about how fast?
It just made me feel like I was gonna die. My fucking heart was gonna explode out there.
That's
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry with all the F bombs. Sorry.
No. I just kind of curious why cocaine, but anyway, I guess.
But anyways, there's more to the story, right? So we somebody got us some weed, and so we smoked some weed the night before the Rumble 95. It was my hometown too. I'm Tampa boy.
That was the one that me and Brett wrestled for 8 hours with 75 run-ins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's the longest Royal Rumble Championship match till date. I saw that the other day on Twitter.
Yeah, and I wasn't in the Rumble either because Bob Holly and I won the tag titles from Bam Bam and Tatanka.
Right.
And people might remember that's where they shot the angle with LT and Bammer, after he did the jizzob. But
was that at the Sundome?
Sundome, yeah.
Yeah.
Pam Anderson and all that. But the kicker is we always had this theory that we would never get tested at TV or pay-per-views, just on house shows because they got too much shit going on. Well, not that day. We show up and fucking on the wall drug test. So the whole day, man, I don't know what happened with you, Kev, but I avoided it the whole fucking day.
Me and Scott paid the guy $150 and he pissed for us.
Yeah, well, so that's what happened with me. But so Dave Hebner finds me, right? And he's like, "Oh, you got to do this promo." And they took the sign down off the door. And so he tricked me into walking into the drug test room. And so when I'm in there, I'm all hemming and hawing, and I'm like, "I don't think I can go." And he goes, "I'll piss for you for $200, dude." I don't think he was done saying it, and I had the money in my fucking hand. That guy made a lot of money that fucking day.
That's the only drug test that I didn't take during that time when we were drug tested was that one.
Me too, that one. Because they were stiff, man. Like it was hard to fucking, like, those tests were serious. They were trying to catch people.
I would have pissed resin that day. I mean.
So there's a lot of talk obviously about how, like, Vince didn't take this very seriously, the drug test, but you guys make it sound
bullshit.
No? Shit. I remember one time that Vince, they pissed us in Philadelphia at the Spectrum, and then we had that was like an afternoon shot on Sunday, and then pissed us that night in Hershey on a double shot. They pissed us both places.
Yeah.
But the only other one was we came back from Christmas and we had TV and they pissed us. And all the top guys went in and just said, "Fuck this." I mean,
even Mike Rotundo was in that room.
Yeah, everybody walked in and we said, we collectively, like a union, just said,
this is bullshit.
Yeah, that nobody's making any money. It's like it would take you 120 days to get a pay-per-view check.
Yep.
Like, guys were basically you take a $200 draw, triple heel in a room to bring home as much cash as possible so you could pay your rent, your lease on your house or your mortgage, or it was.
That's how Vince threw it out. Vince acquiesced. Okay, I'll do it.
Gave us one on the house.
Yeah,
but that was it. That was it. I mean, that was nobody smoked. Nobody did steroids. I mean, that wasn't even a thought. But basically what it was because everybody knows that if you're going to overdose from something, it'll probably be cannabis. But go ahead and drink as much booze and eat as much fucking pills as you possibly can, because the federal government won't look down their nose at that. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's what it was. Like, I don't remember I don't remember hardly ever having an actual script for the pills I was on, and like, I mean, we could get away with it because it wasn't on the wasn't on the radar or whatever.
I used to have there was a product that was called Vanadil sulfate.
Vanadil, yeah.
Yeah, Vanadil. For a while it was like sublingual, and finally it came into pill form, and it was like supposed to be something that kept you lean. And I used to put my somas in that Vanadil thing. Yeah, so if anybody ever looked at my thing, I had a Vanadil sulfate, and it was like 120 Vanadil sulfate. So I'd never put more than 120 somas in there. So.
That's like 3 days worth of somas.
Yeah, you got 4.
You're not sharing them.
Yeah, well, we're always sharing. So
And you're a big guy, Kev. Your tolerance level, I know, because I've seen you sit and hold a bottle of wine like I hold a bottle of beer. You've got a very high tolerance.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now it's really fucked up because I got a really high tolerance and I got a really expensive palate. So now it's like I'm drinking, if I'm not going to get even a buzz, it's like I got to drink at least 3 bottles of wine.
Holy shit.
I didn't want to say it, but I've watched you do that. And it was really, you watch all the rest of the young wrestlers, they sit around you, you hold court, and you've got these bottles. But it is like, I don't want to say Andre-esque, but, you're a big dude. I
don't slur my words.
No.
I'm no different. I went to my buddy Adam Rodriguez that was on Magic Mike. I bought both Magic Mikes with me. I went to his wedding in Florence, and they were in this gorgeous like 17th century farmhouse that they had weddings in, and we basically had the whole thing. And right down the road from us was this winery, and they would bring up these magnums of this really great French cab. And when we were leaving, the guy that was kind of like that ran the place, and there was, Adam's father-in-law is Max Gale, who was, Wojciechowicz on Barney Miller.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so Max Gale's there, and Adam, you know, it was on CSI. So I mean, it was like who's who. Like his buddy Rory is from what's the cat's name on Dazed and Confused?
Harrelson? No,
the dude that's got he always wears the beanie.
The beanie hat. Yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know you're talking about
his character. But my son was like so stoked when he met him. He's like, "Oh my god!" But I mean, it was like the star-studded NFL guys. You know, Keith Bullard. There was it's just just a great time, and you kind of woke up. There was nothing to do but kind of get a buzz on. So the guy, when we were leaving, he came over to me. He says, "So can I speak to you for a minute?" I said, "Yeah, what's up?" He says, "I have never seen somebody drink from the minute they got up to 4 o'clock at night." He says, "and never one time did I see you intoxicated." He said, "I never saw you without a glass of wine in your hand. I never saw you intoxicated." I'm like thinking like, yeah, because everybody knows you can't get intoxicated. You got to take a gimmick. I mean, that's why we take gimmicks.
It's like, what?
Yeah. It's just like, wow, here, let me take this, put it underneath my tongue. I'm a little bit slurry.
That's why Kev usually drove.
Yeah. I always drove. We would go out and I remember one time we stopped someplace, man, and it was like in Rochester, New York. It was snowing, and we pulled into this place, and it said "On Tap Killian's Red."
Oh shit!
Remember that?
Yeah.
And we went in and we drank. We drank like pitcher after pitcher. There was just the 4 of us. Paul wasn't with us yet, and we got out there, and it like. We were in the bar, and then we walked outside, and it was so cold that you kind of sobered up. But once the heat hit you back in the car, we're just like, whew, so I had to crack the window. And I had like an hour and probably 30-minute drive left. Wow. That was a rough one. Speaking of Royal Rumble.
Well, yeah, I guess I'm enjoying these stories. I get back to the Rumble. We're close on 95 here, Sean. We didn't really talk about your 95. We talked about how you won the tag titles. You've had a lot of tag team partners over the years, Sean.
Yeah.
Like to tag with Sparkplug Bob Holly. Was he as stiff then as everybody said he was later, or no?
I mean, when I had singles matches with Bob, like when he was just, Sparkplug Holly. And I had a few with him as Hardcore Holly, and like I don't know, I always thought he was just, I thought he was snug, but nothing I would ever complain about.
I would never. I'd rather somebody lay it in. He wasn't going to hit you in the T-zone. He wasn't going to break your nose, but it was going to be. I like that, man. I like when somebody lays it in. It was like Hog, man. Like so it's nice when somebody. And you're a big old dude, and they hit you, and they knock you on your ass for real.
Oh, Henry Godwin.
Yeah.
He
clotheslined me. He clotheslined me one time, man. He knocked the dog shit out of me. We're in the Meadowlands, and I was just like, whoa, like that's like, but that's kind of, it's nice. It's nice. If you can't dance, man, I was always a cement mixer. Yeah. When you got out of the ring with me, you're like, Jesus Christ. Glad we only had 12 minutes.
It was fine.
Yeah. We did. You could dance around me. That was fine.
The only thing that used to hurt me, but I still love to do it with you, was the sunset flip spot.
Yeah, that's a long way down.
Yeah. I would do the sunset flip on him, and he would go, oh, and then he'd grab me and fucking pull me up like that. And then throw me in the ring. Was so fucking hard, man. I used to cough blood almost every night.
I said that I don't know what it was typing. I said like every night when you got back from the ring, you went to the waste can and you spit up blood from the capillaries in your lungs.
Yeah.
The rings were so hard because they were reinforced because Yoko was breaking the boards. So when you got a 700-pound champion wrestling a 325-pound dead man, you got 1,000 pounds going out there. You got a ton hitting that baby every night. It's like, hey man, that.
You're talking about them physically stomping around, breaking boards in the ring, yeah?
Not when he would
Take a bump?
Samoa drop somebody or something like that.
Okay, got it. When he got I got you.
Yeah, this is and he'd do it because he was taking care of guys. He'd do it dead in the middle, and boom. And he was always the main event, but I think they got tired of replacing boards.
Yeah, I would too.
They put like a spring in the middle of the ring that went from the went from the floor. There was a spring, and then they doubled the spider, the wiring.
Yeah.
That, I mean, Brunswick fucking was selling us rings, man. I mean, the only thing missing was the fucking six pockets there. There would have been a pool.
Yeah, it's like taking a bump on a billiard table. I swear to God, man.
True.
Well, Sean, and in '95 too, you did compete in the Rumble, and you got eliminated by Shawn Michaels. What was y'all's relationship like? Were you guys all
95?
I think it was 95, right?
I don't think I was in the Rumble in 95.
I got eliminated by Sean.
I mean, what's that?
I think it came down to me and Sean, and he eliminated me.
Huh. I mean, I might have. I just don't remember it.
I have you coming in at number 10 in the 95 Rumble and getting eliminated by Sean, and you and Yoko, I think, got eliminated closer sometime.
All right. I guess I was just worried about winning the titles.
On 95, am I the next to last one out?
Something like that. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Wasn't it Sean and Davey were kind of doing the, like, I don't know, where it was like.
Oh, no, it was 95. Okay, sorry. I'm clarifying my own notes here as I read. 95, you were the champ, Kev. We could jump to 96 because that's when you were the last man eliminated by Sean. And then I think it was shortly after, a couple months after you were gone from the company. So.
But I hadn't given my notice yet.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask you was, because this was early 96. Did you have
that was January. I was still in the mix.
Yeah. So you were not even thinking of WCW was just not even in your mind at this point then. Yeah.
Yeah, because didn't Brett Taker fought Brett in the championship, and I did something, and I remember coming down, and I remember flipping Taker off.
Yes.
And I was like the first person to flip somebody off.
Oh. How'd that go over backstage?
Not good.
No,
not as good as when I dropped the strap and I told the guys in the truck, I said, make sure you get a close up of my face, and I went, motherfucker.
Yeah, you did.
And there was nothing they could do about it. But everybody will say I can't work, but I'll tell you one thing, I know how to work the camera, brother.
Well, and then I don't have any notes here for you, Sean, in 96.
96. That's the Rumble that like some of the All Japan guys were like. I think I remember Giant Baba and like maybe Tenryu were there, and Dory Funk Jr. Because I remember going over to Dory Funk because I wanted him to hit me with some of those bolo-like forearms lifters.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I was gone not long after that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was about to say that's kind of my thing. This was like one of y'all's last big, WWF pay-per-views before you guys were off to WCW.
So I had that. I put Taker over at Mania,
right,
in Anaheim, and then I put Sean over at In Your House in Omaha, and we used Sean's leg. That
was one of the greatest things ever. Until that point, like it was one of the coolest things ever in wrestling.
We used a fire extinguisher. Like that was hard. It was a hardcore match before hardcore. Like Brett was the first guy ever to go through a table in our match.
Right.
Like, boy.
And so do you remember that, Nick? He pulled off Mad Dog Vachon's fake leg.
I remember that. And I believe that's isn't that where Sean just like pulled off his boot or something like that and was hitting you with it? Because I got Vachon's leg. I came in, he did something like ducked it, kicked me, and then he tapped his cleats, and I came up and he hit me with it. And he hit me with the leg, and I went down. And then he went in the corner and started doing the kick, and I fed in for the super kick. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. And is this the match where you put him through the table and they didn't move the monitors or whatever? And this is the match.
Yeah, and the monitor hits Vince right in the chin, and Vince no sells it. The monitor comes right up and just drills Vince in the face. Vince absolutely no sells it.
Okay. Of all the details I know of that match, I did not know the Vince detail, but I've seen that match several times. That's like one of the first
great match.
It's like one of the first real hardcore matches in WWE.
I think anywhere that got any kind of notoriety.
Yeah.
Hey, so like Mad Dog Vachon, he sold the fuck out of that, man. Like you would have thought like that thing was 100% shoot, like the way he was selling it. Like he never broke kayfabe on that.
And I'll never forget when right before they let the people in, I walked over to him. I said, "Now make sure you give me the Iggy and feed me the right legs. Be out there pulling your good leg off."
Do you remember what happened to him? He was just fucking jogging on the side of the road and he got hit by a car.
Yeah.
Hit and run. Yeah.
Well, and then so you guys are gone. So I have some more Rumble stuff with Sean here from the 90s, but I did want to ask, I don't know if you were in the match, Sean. I don't think you may have been, but I know Kev was over at WCW. How was it being in the World War III thing?
I think the one we had was in Auburn Hills and I won it.
That's right. Yeah.
Which let me go against Goldberg.
That's right. Set up the Goldberg bout. Yeah.
Wait. Oh, that was a different one. The World War III I was in was, remember we did a really cool finish, right? Like Lex was in there and Big Show. And like, it was just, I remember when we got back, Arn Anderson was like, that's the best battle royal finish I've ever seen in my life. Not that there are a ton of great battle royal finishes, but
yeah,
like, it was good.
It was a good one.
Okay.
And I had no beard or like I was trying to do my beard before that. And my daughter like did something to me and like, well, I was trying to do my beard and I screwed it up. So I ended up being completely shaven.
Yeah.
So that looked really weird.
And just because I'm always looking for a reason to bring up Paparazzi Productions, what was the Rumble's influence on the Kevin Nash Open Invitational X Division Gauntlet Battle Royal in TNA?
I had something when I went to TNA, I had so much fun with the young. I mean, to me, it was
Alex Shelley was
awesome. All those guys, man. Like Jay Lee, like they would just wanted to have fun, man.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I that's my whole thing. Like I watched so many of these. Like I watched Bill's thing, about the streak, and it's just like it almost looked like it was torturous. Like I mean, they sit him down in his seat, and like they're getting ready to film. They're getting ready to film the piece on him. He does this, like that in character, like shake his head. And I'm thinking like, wow, man, like, and I think I say it on the show. I'm like, dude, like you should have gotten in the car with us because there's a lot of us like, driving up and down the road having a ball. Mm-hmm. Like I got into wrestling to have fun. And those young guys at TNA, man, they were fun. They wanted to have a good time. They wanted to laugh. So to me, it was just like, okay, I'll come sit down in your trailer and laugh all day.
Hey, that TNA setup at Universal was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It
was about as much fun as I mean, the beginning of the NWO when it was just about, like me, you, and I mean the clicks, when we got all five of us and we had the hose wagons going up and down the road, that was good times. But we were so business 24/7. All we did was critique each other's matches, talk business, talk angles. And as you get older, man, you realize like, you know what, man, fuck that. I'm not going to put that much thought in this shit. Because at that point, you still kind of had, like, you didn't have everything laid out. You just kind of had a blueprint. You kind of went out there and worked. And then as the business progressed, it was like, then all of a sudden you'd go to TVs and there were guys actually doing their matches and taking bumps.
Oof.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You're going to take a bump for free? Like,
when I did that when I did that show for MTV, that WSX.
Oh, that show was awesome.
They wanted us to get in the ring and go through our match like that. And I'm like hell, like, I mean, I'm not going to go out there and fucking get hurt because you guys don't know how to shoot wrestling. Fuck that.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, it's not hard to shoot me. Like, it's not going to be hard. to figure out what I'm doing. I'm not.
For me, the most important thing you can do is know what story you're trying to tell before you go out there, so you can smarten up the announcers. Because if the announcers are telling the same story that you are, the cameras will pick it up, because they'll be listening. I mean, that's the key, is to make sure that the announce team knows the story you're trying to tell.
So we have. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, so that's interesting for me to hear, just because I've heard people like Jerry Lawler and others say they don't really like to know the results or anything. I never really knew how engaged a lot of the times the different announcers were. That's cool to hear that you would sit down.
I never would talk to a color guy. I would talk to the lead announce.
Okay.
Like JR, like, you know, when you talk to Jim, I mean, Jim would know. I mean, he would set it up. And in the first minute, it's, Brett has the advantage when he has Diesel down. Diesel's on his base. Diesel has the advantage. Let's see what happens. And that was on his base. Yeah. Don't base me, baby.
All right, anyway, Sean, what were you going to say? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I can't remember. You fucked up my train of thought now, Nick.
Oh, that's never ever happened.
No, Kev. Hey, how involved was Pat in putting the finish together for the Rumble for you in any of that?
You mean that one where
like your first one, like the 94 one in Providence, like
he just said, like, how Pat was, man. He was like, enjoy yourself, like this, like, because I was getting the push and I got nervous, I was getting nervous, and he was just like, no, get down, man, go have fun. This is your night, man. You're being crowned. Like, go there, have fun. And it's like, all right, I'll go out there and have fun. I guess Virgil must have hit me with a couple of jabs, because I've seen that thing replayed. I tossed him out with a little overzealousness.
Well, and Sean, I'll flip it to you. You bring up how much was Pat included the finish. You were actually a Final Four. I think it was 2000. You were Final Four in the Rumble. What was it like getting? You were in there with The Rock. I think Boston.
Is that when Rock shit canned me and I took this huge bump? Like,
it is. Yes.
Yeah. Rocky got mad at me.
Why?
Like, because he thought it was too reckless. Like he didn't want to be the one that did, like, he didn't want me getting fucked up by from him shit canning me.
Okay. And how was Pat involved with that? Was he very involved? Because that was like, there was a lot of stuff going on at the end of the Rumble in 2000.
Honestly, I don't remember. And when I look at that, it doesn't look like anything too intricate. Rock just came in and okay. I just remember him shit canning me. But like Pat was always like I don't have experience with Pat as far as the Rumbles go, but as far as like helping me with some of my finishes and my big matches, like he was the man.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember one time Scott and I had we did a double count out, and just a popcorn fart. First night we did it. I think we did it in the Meadowlands, and we didn't know that Pat was there. And then the next night we did it in the Gardens, and Pat said, he said, we're like, it's just a flat finish, Pat. He goes, how about you do this? How about, you guys fight out on the floor, you get the double count out. He says, then, Razor comes back in. He says, let's go some more. So you guys go another 3-4 minutes right there. He says, you knock him out. You fight all the way back to the back. Then you fight back in the ring again. And we're thinking like, fuck, Pat, that's like, we're going to fucking blow up, because God damn, don't worry about it, man. The people, and I mean, they brought agents out to break us apart, and it looked like it was like nobody in the place was standing. People were more than happy with the finish, and nobody remembers that it was a double count out. It was just Scott with the IC belt between his legs doing the cha-cha, saying, come on, let's go some more. And then me finally turning and going like, nah, like that, and me walking through the curtain, and then booing because basically the heel, bitched out. And I left with heat. Scott was over, and that was all Pat. So we took a turd from the Meadowlands, and he shined it up in 24 hours, and we learned a huge thing. And Pat would always say, you got to give him a little something extra.
Exactly what I was going to say. His philosophy was always make him feel like you give him something extra. Like you weren't really, but you just make him feel like it.
Yep.
Well, and Sean, I wanted to ask, before we kind of jump to Kev's return here in 2011, but like you were Final Four. I mean, you got to. I mean, I know you weren't going to win, right? Obviously, but like you're in a moment there where the fans, like, there's a moment of credibility there for you.
Oh yeah, no, I was in a good spot in 2000. Like I was one of their big earners, like merch wise. Like if you go back and look, I didn't even know that. Like I found out later. Like, but like they were, I was doing great. Like, yeah.
What I'm getting to is like, was there ever a hint or a thought that maybe you could see? I mean, it would be years later. You'd see somebody like a Daniel Bryan who really kind of and Rey Mysterio, I guess the guys that define that underdog run into Mania, but in a different timeline, you could have been one of those guys.
Maybe. I just, I gave them reasons not to put me in a spot like that. Like I had 15 days maximum on my contract, so they couldn't overwork me, and like, things like that. And I could have worked harder on my promos.
Sure.
So there were a couple things there. Like if they can only get 15 days a month out of you, they're not going to give you the fucking, the biggest shove,
Unless you're Lesnar. What?
Well, I mean now, but back at the time, it just wasn't happening.
There's talk. I don't know. There's talk he might pop up here. I don't know if it'll be at the Rumble.
Hey, you know what? He's my favorite. He's anybody that can make the most and work the less. He's the best worker in the business right now.
Yeah,
Kev, you're a smart business guy in wrestling. Would you put it past Brock, who I believe is a free agent right now, to show up in AEW?
Yeah, I don't see that.
You don't see it?
I don't see it.
Okay, just wondering.
No.
They got a lot of money.
I mean, I just don't. I don't know. I don't see it.
I thought I would see Bill show up there.
Oh, well, he's locked down, I think, for a couple more years with WWE.
Now.
But because I think Bill, from what I remember reporting, like tried to play AEW off WWE to get a better WWE deal or something like that.
Sure. Well, Tony Khan is a fan of Bill's.
Sure. Well, he loves all the WWE guys. He loves you. Are we going to see you over there?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Fucking somebody's 62 in July. What the fuck am I going to do?
Sting 61.
Hey, obviously he didn't fucking get the right annuities.
Anyway, so you came back. So then there's this break here of no Rumble news for either of you for a decade, and then you come back in 2011 at the Royal Rumble. Kev, what was that? You were Diesel. How did you feel about having to come back as Diesel?
No, I wanted to.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, because I had long gray hair. The day before I think I talked to Paul and I said, hey, because they were expanding it to 40.
Right.
And a couple of days before, and they kind of, like TNA was famous for signing you for 2 years, and then you get like a 25% bump on the second year, and them never honoring that, like them wanting to renegotiate. And they had done that to me, so I just said, "Fuck it." I said, I'm out of here. And I forget who the attorney was, but.
Oh, I remember this because there were weird stories. I remember at the time, wasn't it like Dixie just like gave you permission to leave, and everyone's like, "Why would you do that?"
Well, I was gonna. I had, like anybody else does. I mean, I had a pretty detailed map of where everybody was buried, and I just said, maybe you let me go. So I dyed my hair because I knew. At that point in your career, it's about moments and it's about pops. And I've always gotten a good response. I've always loved Boston. A lot of people don't know this, but the last WWF match to be held in the Boston Garden was me versus Sid.
Oh, shit.
It was the last before they tore it down and made it the Fleet Center. That was the last match. And Vince came to us, and Sid said, "No, man, let's go fourth." I said, "Dude, we can be the last match ever."
Yeah, I don't think that was too important to Sid, was it?
Oh, like I'm thinking, like, no, man, like this is the Boston Garden, man. Like you got to be kidding me. And so I knew that I would probably get a good response, but I also was smart enough to know, like, if I would have came out as Nash or NWO, but as soon as that horn, because I knew they were going to play my old and then they popped, and you get that the sensation of the pop, and then when you come out, and I was in good shape. Hell, I looked better than I was when I was 35. And I said to my wife, I said to her, I said, watch how long it takes me to put this glove on. In the aisleway, I said, because once I put that glove on and raise the hand, and once I raised that fist, I said, it's downhill from there. But I actually was nice because everybody fed me. John Cena fed me a nice little short arm clothesline. And then McIntyre and Sheamus got on me. And they just, they wanted me to throw Ziggler out. And I didn't see any reason to eliminate Ziggler. It's like, I always thought that he wasn't being used right. So I was like, and I like him. Like he's one of the guys I think, I still think he's underused. But so they're pounding on me, and it's like the place is chanting Diesel, and I'm trying and Sheamus is stiff as fuck, and it's like you're both just stiffing the fuck out of me, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you guys can't hear that? Like, just let me blow a comeback right here. Because I talked shit on the internet about Barrett.
Wade Barrett. I remember that.
Yeah. I talked shit on it. We went back and forth. And as soon as I walked in to the locker room, I said, I want Barrett to eliminate me. Because that's what you do. You do business. You know? That's like great. I'm paying out. I wanted to come in here, I wanted to have an angle with somebody in there and then be eliminated to elevate them. But Sheamus didn't beat me down so bad by the time I was eliminated. I was just glad to get the fuck out
of there. Okay, fair. And yeah, you came back, you were around for WWE. You had a run there. I mean, you feuded with Punk for a little while.
Next time.
What?
I think I was like 15. I came back.
Was it to 15 or was it? I thought it was run here. Sorry, because I have 2014.
14. I came back to another Rumble.
Yes,
it was Pittsburgh, and then I didn't do anything. And then I was shooting Magic Mike, and I got a call. I had like a little bit of time left, and they said, "Can you come down and stick Punk?" So Del Rio can use his Money in the Bank,
right?
And I had my hair was long, and it was dark anyway.
Yeah, I went off script here, and I screwed up. That's not surprising. But anyway, your last appearance here for the Rumble was 2014, and I just wrote because I looked into this. You guys had just done some kind of DX reunion thing down in NXT not too long before that, and then this was your final Rumble for both of you. There was no Rumble appearances.
Yeah, this was the one that they really wanted to focus on Roman, and like Jamie Noble was the guy that set up the match, and nothing against Jamie Noble, but I don't fucking think Jamie Noble is really like. I don't think his forte is fucking Royal Rumbles. It just so they set it up so like he was going to eliminate like a ton of guys, but the way they laid it out was basically while Roman was doing because his moveset was his moveset took too long to set up the way they had it laid out. That basically like there was like four of us in a corner with our dicks in our hands. So if you ever watch it back, I make eye contact with him. Because I'm going to come, he's going to pull the rope, I'm just going to go over the top. So I make eye contact with him like I'm coming, right? and I give him the Iggy, like, I'm coming, and I run at him. He does this. Fuck me. Like, so then I get hit a couple times. Then I go stand in the corner with my dick in my hand. Then it's time to go. He does it, and I fucking get my arm caught in the fucking ropes, which I've never in my life. I thought for sure I tore my bicep. I didn't get hurt, but I just said to myself, like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Like I'll go do the indies, man. I'll go have some fucking fun.
Fun you did have, yeah. Go work with Dave Hero, great guy, Dave Hero.
Yeah, no, I did. I'm at the point in my life. I mean, I had a great run, and it's like I just, man, I saw it like the other day, like Austin said, like, I'm never going to wrestle again. Like, to me, the thought of my body at 62 years old hitting that mat is the equivalent of a tray of Jack Daniels sitting in front of me. Like, I want to vomit. You know, it's just like people don't realize, number one, I'm falling a foot further than everybody else. And I'm fucking at least 50 pounds heavier than most guys. So even though they say, well, you never took a bunch of bumps in your life, look back at my shit in my early fucking WWF days. Fucking, I bounced around because all my guys in the fucking car said, you can fucking work like Warlord and fucking and you can do whatever the fuck you want. You're the biggest guy here, or you can fucking bounce around and fucking work and get over. And that was Sean, that was Michaels, and that was Scott Hall that were in my ear. And I'm watching those guys. That's three of the greatest. That car is, if you were to pick five guys, a center, a power forward, a shooting forward, small forward, shooting guard, and a guard. I mean, we had it. That was there's in that car is 5 two-time Hall of Famers.
Kev talked about the hose wagons. Those were the big 15-passenger white cargo vans that, like, we had to rent those because we couldn't all fit, you know, in a Lincoln or a Cadillac, or,
yeah,
you know, sometimes we could get a minivan, but even that
was Luminous. That's the one we did. We remember
yeah, Kev, it was your car, right?
I rented it.
You rented it, and so we were on our way to Liberty, New York. It's this little fucking town in the middle of nowhere, and like upstate New York. Yeah, there was like when you watch the TVs from there, you could see what time it is opposite the hard camera from the clock on the wall.
Big giant clock on the wall.
Yeah, and so it was like a blizzard out, and everyone's like, "Oh, who's gonna drive?" And I'm like, "I'm from Minnesota. I'll drive." And Kev, like, I didn't even have a fucking valid license. So we're driving, and
we come over. We go.
Yeah,
over,
you go ahead.
We go over the top of this hill, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, well, he's from Minnesota, but I'm from Detroit. I'm thinking, man, this is like serious black ice fill right here. Man, we all of a sudden this aluminum we're in is spinning, and we jump over the median, and now we're going to oncoming traffic. So on the far left is a semi that goes by us, and there's a car coming dead at us, and the front of the aluminum is like they're called cow catchers.
Yeah.
Of an old steam, you know, like on a rail.
Right.
This fucking car comes and hits and turns like Joey Chitwood, and I'm turning and watching this car flip over onto its top and slide, and that context sends us over the embankment, and we hit a tree about this big, dead in the middle of that fucking van. And man, I mean, my knees hit the. I mean, we all of us were beat up pretty bad, but we always wore seatbelts. And
Oh my God.
We're sitting there. We got to be at TV, and Bam Bam comes, and Bam Bam had a Bronco, and Bam Bam wasn't a big fan of the Click, but Bam Bam took all of us and took us to TV. And
hey, you remember the guy that fucking was in the other car? He wanted to use Bammer's phone, and was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, Bammer had the old brick.
He didn't say "fuck you," but yeah.
No, fuck you, man. It's $1.99 a minute.
Yeah,
man. Why didn't Bam Bam get along with the? What was the heat?
We were just. I mean, fuck. We had every belt. It was just. And we're. You know what? I saw something like Bischoff had on his show. He had like this thing where he was talking to Hulk, and like he looked in Hulk's fanny pack, and Hulk had a blade, and like he was wondering like shit was going to go down that day, and like the internet like kind of popped like what the fuck, and I'm thinking to myself like 1997, fuck, I would have wanted to stab me. Like I was such a fucking cock, like fuck. Like. Fuck, why would Hulk be any different? Like, fuck him. I'll stab that big fucker.
Wow. Wrestling. What a gentle business.
Yeah.
So this brings us to we talk before I get to my kind of final question for you guys. Is there anything from your respective Rumble experiences that I did not bring up? The only thing I glossed over was your 99 European title match with Gangrel, Sean, because of the flow. But if there's anything else you guys want to bring up, no.
I just don't like most times. Like I was on the Rumble pay-per-view, I had a match, like the Gangrel or the tag title match or something like that.
Yeah,
like I don't have a lot of memories of actually being in the Rumble. To be honest with you,
it seemed like Kev had the bigger actual Rumble match memories. You were doing double duty or playing.
I wasn't in very many of them.
Well, the one you were in, you did more.
5? Maybe 5.
That's a lot of Rumbles,
That's
Kev.
a lot, yeah.
All right, well, fuck, I take it back.
That's a lot of Rumbles. Well, it's easy work for you, I guess. You're a big dude just chucking people around. But, the last question I had was looking forward to this Rumble, looking forward to Mania. Do you guys have preferences on who you'd like to see get to ride that road to WrestleMania this year? Does anybody come to mind or no?
Well, who's really like because it's such a different vibe watching the show the way it is now without the live crowd. So I've always been a fan of his work, even when he broke in and drove in my car with me. And he was he broke in the business. I broke in the WWE, and him and Jinrak would drive with me because I was friends with Jinrak. But Orton, like I've become like a really big fan of Orton in this. I mean, I've always been a fan of his, but in this era, it seems like. I don't know. It just seems like his style and what he does, he doesn't really need the people. Like some people need the people. I think Reigns has done a good job.
Reigns is really good lately.
I think that he's so. I would love to see Reigns and Orton, but I think Paul's going to wrestle, isn't he?
Is he?
It kind of seemed like they were painting him in that corner.
He came back for the match with Orton on Raw like a week and a half ago, but I
think that was because Drew got COVID, right?
Yeah, it was real last second. He wrestled in jeans, and it seemed like it was real thrown together.
And I haven't talked to Paul to the point of like saying, "Are you still doing all the because he's." With his COVID, I know he's not with his normal trainer as much as he used to be. He's basically he's a lot. Spends a lot of time down in Florida. So I don't know if Paul's doing, and Paul's 10 years younger than me, so Paul's 51.
Yeah.
So it's but I think they're gonna. I think they need him. Like I think that especially when the thing is like the Titanic meets Avatar meets the Ten Commandments in length. I mean,
2 nights. This time it's 2 nights. This year's 2 nights.
Yeah, but it's just fuck. I mean,
man, that's a lot of wrestling to watch with no crowd. No,
yeah.
And Mania will have fans this year, but the Rumble will not.
Right.
Hey, hey, Kev, what are we doing? Have you heard about our Hall of Fame thing? Are we doing that virtually? What are we doing?
I haven't heard anything.
Me neither.
That's the report is you guys are going to do a virtual Hall of Fame. That's the word on the street.
I mean, what does that mean? Like that we just stay home and call it in like we're doing now? Or I mean, huh. I would like to know that.
I think a lot of people would. So, all right. Well, that brings me to the end of we can always bring back because like the thing is I tried not to write too much outside the Rumble because we can always bring Kev back and we can talk about different subjects and things.
Yeah.
But this was a really nice look at the Rumble, especially, from some guys that have had some big moments on these shows,
Yeah. Plus, I hadn't had a decent length conversation with Kev in a while too. So,
well, not only that, it's just like fucking, like when you think about it, fuck, I've been in fucking 5 Rumbles. That's a lot. I'm thinking like guys have done like 33 of them. I'm thinking I've only been in 5.
Because Kev, let's look. Because I think it's the breadth. Because you span 20 years, right? Because your first one was in 94. And then your last one was in 2014. And then you wrestled 5. So you basically did one every 4 years.
Hey, I'm getting my knee done on the 27th.
I know.
Yeah. I already told you, Kev.
Yeah.
But like people are mentioning like wanting to see me in this year's Rumble, which obviously isn't going to happen, but I'm open to like, I should be recovered by next year's Rumble. And like I would be open to doing it, How
about you, Kev? You back?
Am I? Would I be back in the Rumble?
Yeah, sure.
I think after talking to you tonight, 5 seems like such a perfect number,
right?
That I think 6 would. I mean, then all of a sudden it's like, are we talking about 6-Pac? Are we like? Is it 6? So he's already got the 6 thing. So I'll just stay at 5.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned earlier that in the car there were 5 two-time Hall of Famers. I brought this up to Sean. This actually did a lot of traffic on the site. Sean is the only 2-time Hall of Famer that doesn't have a solo induction. So if Sean gets inducted by himself, he'll be the only 3-time Hall of Famer.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you pro that idea?
Yeah. Let's just dig everything. Let's just bogey everything we can get.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone else.
I mean, Hunter's only a one-time because he won't put himself in.
Right.
Yeah.
But his body of work, I mean, somebody please tell me who's had a better run than him.
All right. Well, Sean, you want to take us home? I think we're done.
Yeah. Hey, so thanks, Nick. I appreciate you doing this with us, man. It adds a lot, Nick.
It's good to see you, Nick.
Yeah.
When things are normal again, bring it back to Chicago. You don't have to take any bumps to host pay-per-view parties. And we both made good money that night. So like, I'm way for it. I did it with Sean too. That was great.
Hey, you know me, I'm that's my thing. I'm not too much on the bumps, but the cashola.
Yeah. Hey, so Kev, thanks, man. I love you and I miss you, man.
Good luck on the knee. And
I have to get a COVID test 2 days prior, and like I'm a little bit nervous, like because people are coming up positive on COVID that you would like. It's really spreading right now, man.
Oh, it's like 10 people that I've known that like dodged the bullet like in the last month have gotten it.
Sean, I don't want to cut you off. This is a really depressing way to end the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it really?
I don't know, man. Like this is an escape for an hour. COVID, and here we are at the end. You're just,
leave it to me.
That's fine.
So, hey, but thanks, Kev. I love you, man.
Love you, man. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, Nick. I don't know if I love you yet.
No. Well,
not the way I love Kev, anyways.
Long time, Joe.
Love you long time, Joe. All right, you guys. Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in. And I don't know. We'll be back again next week.